Hi everyone! So for project 3, I decided to sew together a shirt to spread awareness about the environmental impacts of the fashion industry. So I made this top from scratch. I made the white base using an old button-up that I thrifted. And I added these patches. This fabric is leftover fabric from past sewing projects I've done. And I incorporated a nature element to spread awareness about the beauty of nature and how we need to preserve it by shopping greener, shopping secondhand, and not shopping from fast fashion. So I want to talk a little bit about the fashion industry. So the fashion industry contributes to 10% of global gas emissions, and according to the United Nations Environment Program in 2023, if the fashion industry continues in this way, its greenhouse gas emissions will increase by over 50% by 2030. And then it also, according to the BBC, in 2022, producing just one t-shirt consumes the equivalent of 5,000 water bottles. So the fashion industry is very harmful for air pollution, also harmful for water usage, and of course a lot of these clothes do end up in landfills, so it's bad for our land pollution. And a lot of these issues stem from specifically fast fashion. So for those of you that don't know, fast fashion, it started in around like the late 1980s. It actually started with the fast fashion company Zara. They were the first ones to do it, and the whole business model is that it focuses on outsourcing labor, mass producing garments, and keeping them low quality and low price in order to maximize profit. And to kind of explain more about how fast fashion works, I want to compare them to another industry, the tech industry, and using the concept of planned obsolescence. So if we look at a major company like Apple, they incorporate this strategy of planned obsolescence a lot. So according to the BBC in 2017, Apple was accused of basically slowing down their older iPhone models to allegedly get people to buy the newer models year after year. And Apple claims this because the lithium-ion batteries in the phones would degrade as the phone aged, and that would cause the phone to unexpectedly shut down. But regardless, it's still the same result of people over-consuming iPhones and buying the newer iPhones every year. So Apple basically incorporated this idea of an expiration date in the iPhones, where people would be forced to buy a new iPhone year after year and essentially over-consume this technology. And fast fashion companies use this same idea of planned obsolescence. So fast fashion companies are notorious for very quick outputs of new styles and new trendy clothing. Sometimes in as little time as a week, they'll have a new collection up in their stores. And this will cause people to believe that there's a new trend that they must follow, and they have to buy this new garment to stay up up to date with the trends. And it'll lead them to overconsume and keep buying in more clothes. And this has led to people buying on average 64 pieces of clothing every year and only wearing them 7 times before discarding them. And so this obviously piles up in landfills a lot, and it leads to overconsumption from these fast fashion companies. So in conclusion, while the fashion industry is very rampant and the fast fashion is definitely bad and it should not exist, it's kind of unreasonable to just halt it entirely. But I say that at least the individual person can make individual actions to kind of steer away from fast fashion companies and maybe shop secondhand, or even upcycle or mend their old clothes in order to give their new clothes a new life, like I did. Thank you.